Everyone. Good morning, Doc Larry and classmates. My topic for today is all about manufacturing human resource management in terms of compensation and benefits, labor unionism and organization, HRO and NLRC framework to resolve labor disputes. Manufacturing Human Resource Management, or what we call the HRM, refers to the process and strategies used by companies in the manufacturing sector to manage their workforce effectively. It focuses on optimizing the performance, skills, and well being of employees who play a crucial role in the production of goods and services. Human resource management in the manufacturing industry has some unique characteristics due to the nature of the work, which often resolves or involves labor intensive tasks, complex machinery, safety regulations, and a focus on efficiency. There are some key components of manufacturing HRM. One of those are workforce planning recruitment, training and development, employee safety and health, performance management, labor relations, compensations and benefits, employee engagement and retention, compliance and legal issues. We also have technology and automation. What's all about for workforce planning and recruitment? For this, I believe that the workforce planning and recruitment ensures the company hires the right number of employees with the necessary skills for various positions in the production process. They're also recruiting talent of specific roles such as production managers, quality controllers, and assembly line workers. There's also they're all they're they are also forecasting labor requirements based on the production schedules and market demands. For the training and development, they are also providing employees with continuous training on safety procedures, machinery operations, and also the quality of standards. They also offer skill development programs for workers to improve their productivity and adaptability to the new technologies. Also, for the training and development, they're also fostering career growth and development through the leadership training programs for potential supervisor and management. Let's say, for example, there are an open position or hirings for, let's say, a supervisor, managers, and OIC. Of course, they would definitely conduct a training and development for them to make sure that they would definitely hire the employee with definitely that could what we call this they're ready for that specific position. Of course, next would be the employee safety and health. With this, manufacturing environments often present physical risk. The HRM must implement health and safety regulation and ensure that compliance with workplace safety standards. In addition to that, providing employees with personal protective equipment, or what we call the PPE, most especially for those employee who works in a construction sites, for of course, construction sites, they must have a personal protective equipment. You're also ensuring regular safety drills and promoting a culture of safety. Moreover, offering health benefits with wellness programs, stress and management techniques, especially the workers who compose of long or exposed of long shifts or physical demanding tasks. these employee safety and health must definitely have hired somehow like a psychological courses. They have offered like most especially for those who work overnight shift. They definitely conduct a what we call this physical therapy, or for those psychological study, most especially those who has a job like mortars, like in our industry. They have conduct a we conduct and evaluate videos who encounter like mga patay-patay, and then mga pusil-pusil. So we have, or we make sure that the employee would have a mental health safety. Next would be the labor relations. For the labor relations in many manufacturing environments, there are maybe labor unions that represent like the workers. HRM must manage relations between the unions, negotiate collective and bargaining agreements, and handle disputes rather. They also maintain positive relationships between management and employees to avoid labor unrest and ensure smooth operations. Most especially is the compensation and the benefits. For the compensations and benefits, they must structure competitive salary that reflects the market value of labor and the nature of work. They also offer benefits like healthcare, retirement plans, vacation days, and performance-based incentive. For the healthcare, that's what we call the insurance. Because there are some companies who doesn't have insurance. They have, but the employee will be the one to pay for it. But in our case, since I'm working in a BPO, we have a insurance that has also covered two benefit dependents. In our case, as an employee, we have 250,000 coverage for the benefits of the insurance hospitality. Okay, and in addition to that, in our company, we also have retirement plans in which 10% of our salary or our basic pay, that's the one that we were paying, and the company will give 4% of the basic pay. So after our retirement, then the 100% of the total retirement plan will be released by the company. Then what about this vacation days, or the PTO, or the PTO, in which this is the privilege of some employees? Moses, for the PTO and the vacation days, mostly early of the year, the company would give at least 8 to 10 vacation days. And every month, they would provide or add 1.5 vacation days. And then for the end of the year, if you were unable to use your vacation days or the PTO, it will be converted to cash. That's in our case as well. But I don't think if the other companies would definitely convert it into cash. Somehow, the company would allow the employee to let them have a vacation, even if it doesn't have a plan for the employee. And then for the performance-based incentive, this is like a metric or a monthly based performance. Let's say, for example, you are working in a call center and you have a metric to follow, to pass on, so that you can get a performance-based incentive. In our case, is as a working employee in a call center, we get our performance-based incentive and every other 3 months. So every month, if you pass your metric, your performance metrics, then you would get 3,900. So imagine if you passed for the 3 months metrics, then you would probably get the 3,900 times 3, then that's a very big amount. That would definitely help as the employee. And next would be the employee engagement and retention. This keeps employees motivated and engaged through recognition programs, team building activities, and fostering positive work culture. This somehow the employee or the employer will give an exact amount to make sure that the employee or the company has engagement with their employees. That most especially team building, like recognition, like perfect attendance. They would those employee for those who employee who has perfect attendance. Then they would give like enough amount or like incentive, and then as well as the recognition program like the certificates. And it's very useful to have your a certificate or a recognition, because it makes you have an edge for the other candidate or other employee. Next would be the compliance and legal issues. For this one, this ensures adherence to labor laws and health and safety regulations, environment guidelines, and industry-specific compliance standards. For the technology and automation, this is an HRM manufacturer increasingly involves integrating technology to enhance efficiency. This can include using HR software of recruitment, scheduling, performance, tracking, and training. Next would be what is about the compensation and benefits. The compensation and benefits are crucial components of human resource management that focus on how employees are remunerated and additional perks or benefits provided to them. In the manufacturing sector, in these aspects of HRM is particularly important because of the nature of the work, the industry's competitive labor market, and the physical demands on workers. Proper compensations and a well structured benefits program can significantly improve employee motivation, retention, and overall organizational success. And for this one, for the compensation and benefits, we have the base salary or hourly wages. For the hourly salary wages, these are common in manufacturing because much of the work involves manual or repetitive tasks. The wage rate is set based on the worker's role, experience, and skills. Salaried positions may include roles like supervisors, managers, or even the engineers, where employees are compensated based on an annual salary rather than an hourly rate. Next, for the benefit would be the overtime pay. For under the law, if you work more than 8 hours, um, the under the DOLE or the Department of Labor and Employment, you are only allowed to work 8 hours. After that, if you go beyond the 8 hours, that's what we call overtime pay. It is automatically paid by the company. And manufacturing would often requires workers to work beyond regular working hours, especially during peak production times like holidays, most especially Christmas season. That's typically compensated a higher rate. Somehow, it is double time. There are also accurate tracking and fair payment over time if it is essential to comply with labor laws and maintain employee satisfaction. Next is the shift or the shift differential. Uh, this shift differential, I believe this refers to the night differential. Night differential start around if you are working in a graveyard shift, like in an evening shift. Like the night differential starts at around 10 and ends in the 6 in the morning. There are some companies would pay 10% of your total of your pay or your basic pay, and then other companies would pay with your 50% of your pay. All right. And the shift differentials may manufacturing facilities operates in shift and workers who work during less desirable hours. These incentives or incentivize employees to work during of hours or during busy periods. Next is the bonuses and incentive pay. Bonuses refers like 13-month pay, or somehow there are some employer who would definitely give you like a 14-month pay. Performance bonuses can be awarded of employees based on productivity targets, individual performance, or overall company's success. Somehow, as I worked before uh, in a hotel, we have or we call it as a incentive pay, and yeah, incentive pay. Next would be the merit increase. Merit increase this based on a performance evaluation which received based raises which reward individual accomplishments such as increase of efficiency, skills development, and leadership qualities. Next is for pay for skill and experience. If you are a skilled and experienced employee, you were a specialized like years of experience, you would have a higher wage due to your complexity of their task. Moreover, skills-based pay system can encourage employees to continue developing their skills and improving their work. Most most important benefits would be the health insurance. As mentioned a while ago, that they have the insurance providing health benefits such as medical, dental, and vision insurance is one of the most significant benefits offered to employees. These healthcare benefits, I don't think that some uh, employer would give like the healthcare benefits. I'm doubt with that. I only know for those who works in a call center. Then retirement benefits. Employer may offer pensions such as 400,000 plans. Employer matching contributions are common. That's the employer matching contribution. That's the one that I mentioned a while ago that they would get 10% of our pay for the basic pay, and then the company or the employer would match 4% of the retirement pay or the retirement plan. Next is the PTO or the paid time off. Manufacturing workers typically receive vacation days, sick leave, and personal days like your birthday, like if you are you're sick, and of course your planned vacation days. That's mostly the paid vacation days or the vacation plan would file 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the scheduled vacation plan, so that they would definitely plot and look for a alternative employee who can kanang murag mupuli sa imong shift ba. Next is life and disability and insurance. Life insurance provides employees' families with financial support in event of employees' death. So in our case, life and disability insurance, if simba ko, mawala ko, mamatay ko, and then naaman ko yung life and disability insurance, si company mo hatag na mo og life or death financial support sa family, effective immediately gyud na siya. Like mukuan siya like 36 or equivalent of 3 years times sa amo ang basic pay. So imagine ana basic pay na mo dayon i-times siya og 36 months or 3 years. So dako jud kaayo siya. And then next would be the wellness programs. Wellness programs is to promote physical and mental well-being. Many companies provide programs which may include gym membership, on-site fitness facilities, ergonomic workplace adjustments, or the stress reduction initiatives. Not all companies offer the wellness programs. Next is the transportation and commuting benefits. Okay, for this, employees who commute to work, companies might offer transportation allowance, company provided buses, or subsidies for public transit. I don't hear that much, or wala kay ko'y nadungog nga there are some employer or companies offer a transportation benefits except sa mga call center. Na sila transportation allowance. If wala sila transportation allowance, naana sila libre nga buses. In our case, we have 3,500 monthly transportation allowance since wala na provide ang among company og libre nga buses. And we get that separately or i-divide na siya into 2 payments or pay ang transportation allowance. Next of the report is about challenges in compensation and benefits for manufacturing or the HRM. First is the wage compression. In some cases, wages for experienced workers may become too close to wages less experienced, leading to dissatisfaction and turnover. Ang uban mo resign na lang sila kay wala sila happy sa ilahang sweldo. It's because let's say for example, you were hired with like mora ni imong responsibilities. Then apparently after how many months of working, napuna lang imong responsibility or job responsibility without increasing the imong sweldo. So mo na ang uban mo lang dili sila satisfied sa ilang workspace, mo na nga mo resign sila. Ilang i-turn over ang ilahang mga job responsibilities. Next is the managing cost. Offering competitive compensation and benefits can be expensive, and balancing this with the need of profitability is a key challenge for manufacturers. Next is the equity and fairness. Ensuring fairness in compensation structures and benefits distribution can be difficult, especially in large manufacturing organizations with a diverse workforce. Lastly, the retention and engagement. Designing an attractive compensation package that helps retain employees is a critical, particularly in industries with high turnover rates. Next slide would be the conclusion for the compensation and benefits. They are fundamental to attract and retaining skilled workers or workforce in the manufacturing sector. A well-rounded compensation package that includes competitive wages, benefits that ensure employees' health and well-being, and performance-based incentive can enhance employee satisfaction, reduce turnover, and boost of overall productivity. HR professionals and manufacturer needs to careful design compensation and benefits structures that align with both industry standard and the company financial capabilities. Also addressing employees' needs to financial securing in work-life balance. Muna nga, I highly suggest if we applied for a job, we will make sure that we will read the benefits before we signed the contract so that there is no regret in the future. Okay, what if ka-excite nimo at yes na nakoy trabaho then diretso lang kag perma then moving forward you were surprised na ang imuhang gi-expect nga benefit is wala gi-offer ni company. So it's a big no. So it's better before you sign a contract, read the contract, most especially the compensation and the benefits. Next slide is the labor unionism and the organization. This refers to the collective efforts of workers to come together to form unions and advocate for their rights, negotiate better working conditions, wages, and benefits. Labor unions are formal organizations that represent workers in various sectors, including manufacturing, services, and other industries. Primary goal of the labor union is to protect, of course, and improve economic and social well-being of their members through collective bargaining and other forms of advocacy. In the context of manufacturing, labor unionism plays a critical role in presenting workers who are often involved in physically demanding and repetitive tasks. Unions seek to improve working conditions, protect workers from completion, and ensure that their rights are respected by employers. Next, what are the key aspects of labor unionism and organization? First would be the history of labor unionism. This origins of labor unions is a modern sense began to form during the Industrial Revolution in the 19th century, when workers in factories, mines, and other industries began to organize in response to poor working conditions. Next is the early struggle for the labor unionism. Early labor movements faced insignificant resistance from employers who often view union such as threat on to their control. Next, for the aspect is the purpose of labor unions. The labor unions purpose is to collect bargaining and on behalf of their members. This process involves negotiating with employers over issues such as wages, working conditions, and benefits. Structure of labor unions. This is a labor unions that have various structures depending on the industry, region, or country. But they have generally follow a system designed to effectively represent workers' interests, like the national region unions, local unions, international unions, and the union officers. What are the types of labor unions? We have four type of unions. These are the craft unions, industrial unions, general unions, and the white collar blue unions. Challenges and faced by labor unions. These are declining membership, anti-union sentiments, legal and political barriers, global global automation. For the declining membership, in many countries, union membership has been into the decline, particularly in the sector where labor costs are being minimized through outsourcing and also the automation or the use of temporary and contract workers. Next aspect is the benefits and labor unions. This improve wages and benefits and also job security and collective voice as well as the workplace improvements. Next, what is the conclusion for the labor unionism and organization? It remains the central to the protection and improvement of workers' rights, especially in industries like manufacturing, where employees face physical demands and complex work environment. Through collective bargaining, advocacy, and representation, labor unions help ensure that workers receive fair treatment, safe working conditions, and appropriate compensation. However, unions must continually adapt to address new challenges posed by globalization and technological changes and shifting economic landscape. Next slide would be in the context of labor disputes with human resource offices, or what we call the NLRC. These play pivotal roles in resolving conflicts between the employers and the employees. Mo ni siya mga complaints sa mga employee like wala nila natarong og kwenta ang ilang mga 13 month, they work overtime but the overtime pay has been disputed. So I mean na dispute siya, grabe ang mga dispute, wala na sweldoan for. Of course, the employee work for it, so the employer must pay for it. Munang ang uban mo reklamo sila sa NLRC. And next slide would be the Human Resource Office framework for resolving labor dispute. The human resource framework and resolving labor disputes is within a company is typically the first line of defense when it comes to managing and resolving labor disputes. Mostly manggod, ang mga HR is biased. Dili sila kaayo bitaw mo entertain sila sa complaints sa usa ka employee. However, the process is too long. Mo na nga ang uban mapulaan na lang ang ubang employee, mo na nga mo diretso na lang sila complain sa NLRC. National Labor Relations Commission framework for resolving labor disputes. These are by the way, for the human resource framework, there are external bodies for the NLRC. There are many measures and policies need to be followed, grievance handling procedure, mediation, and conflict resolution. For the National Labor Relations Commission or the NLRC, they have the jurisdiction. Employees or employers can file a complaint with the NLRC if the disputes cannot be resolved through the internal HR. Muna akong giingon a while ago nga if ang HR pulpul kaayo, murag nagdugay-dugay siya and then wala gihapon siya nahimo si HR, po na nga si employee is allowed to file a complaint sa NLRC. And there are some cases as well for the NLRC that includes the following: termination disputes, cases where employees contest their dismissal is illegal. Mo na nga mo file sila nganong gi-terminate man ko, that's illegal. Like mo nag automatic sila nga without further notice pa. nga giterminate daay sila. They were surprised nga wala na daay sila schedule. That's illegal. Mostly some of the companies, they would have investigation or what we call the admin hearing. Without the admin hearing, that's illegal. Okay? Next is the wage and benefits claim, like unpaid wages, overtime, holiday pay, mo na sila nga pwede sila mo complain ana sa NLRC. Next is the role of HR in the NLRC process. The role of the HR in the NLRC process is or before escalating the disputes to the NLRC, HR should attempt to resolve the issue internally as outlined in its grievance and procedures. Without ana, murag pildi sa HR ana kung wala siya ni process or ni follow sa process. Next is the cooperation with the NLRC. It is, or if a case reaches the NLRC, HR department must cooperate with the commissions, providing necessary documents, evidence, and testimony as required. This is what happened way back on 2013. I worked before in a hotel and condos, and then I worked there for 5 years, and then I was surprised when I tried to check my government benefits, my SSS, PhilHealth and Pag-ibig, wala siya nabayaran, and it was deducted back then. So it was stated on my payslip nga gidakan ko sa ako ang mga benefits sa akong government. However, it was not paid through the government. So mao siya ni file ko complaint sa HR, and then walay gibuhat sa HR, pulpul si HR, ni diretso ko sa NLRC. And that na ako yung mga evidence nga gibayaran ako ang mga benefits, which is my payslip. And that's good enough evidence nga makabayad og balik si company nako. But mo siya nga for the whole 5 years ila kong gibayaran in cash. Okay? Kuan murag system glitch ko no. I doubt nga it's a system glitch kay naaman siya sa payslip. So for this one, the conclusion for the NLRC are the complementary processes, while the HRO handles day-to-day grievance and mediates conflicts before they escalate. The NLRC provides an official legal platform or more conflicts dispute that cannot be resolved internally by addressing labor disputes at multiple levels within the workplace, first, and if it's necessary, through formal legal channels. Before you file a complaint, mo report usa ka sa HRO, and then make sure if the HRO wala siya process, then you have to file a complaint sa NLRC that ensures that labor laws are followed, the workers' right, and protect the workers or the employees. So that's it. This is the report that I have gathered with regards with manufacturing human resource management in terms of compensation and benefits, labor and unionism and organization, as well as the HRO and NLRC framework to resolve labor disputes. Thank you very much. I hope that everybody has a great day ahead. Bye-bye.